Welcome back to Moby's Kitchen. And this morning, and I say this morning because we're up early this morning to get this pork shoulder going. We're gonna make a pork shoulder for some pulled pork for a party we're going to. And we're gonna start with an 8-pound pork shoulder here. So this is called pork shoulder, pork butt. This is a beautiful one here. We're gonna flip it over first. And we're gonna make some scores on this bottom side fat. We're gonna leave this on. This kind of helps protect the meat. We're just gonna give some sort of diagonal scores here. You don't want to go too deep here, just into the fat. About, I don't know, inch and a half apart. Then we're gonna flip it and do the same thing in the opposite direction. This will help that fat sort of render out and still protect the meat. All right. Okay, let me get some gloves on and we'll get seasoning done next. Okay, we're gonna get some mustard all over this, and this is gonna act as a binder. You're not gonna really taste this mustard. Works great on pork. You could use olive oil or avocado oil or anything that'll help the seasoning bind to this. And by the way, this pork shoulder's been sitting out for about half an hour, 40 minutes to kind of come to room temp. You don't wanna put this on super ice cold. It helps the middle cook. So we're gonna rub a little bit of mustard on here on the back and the sides. Then I'm using this Luigi seasoning. This is a local restaurant, Italian restaurant. They make a great seasoning. You can use your favorite barbecue rub here, whatever you'd like to use. This one has like a salt, pepper, paprika, onion powder, garlic powder, kind of your basic stuff that you'd want to season with. And later you'll see we're gonna be putting some brown sugar on this anyway. So that sweet element's gonna come a little bit later. So just a light coating on the fat cap, because most of this isn't gonna get to the meat, but if you can spread where we scored it and get it down in there a little bit, that helps. Get the side there. A nice coating. You can get some of that from the actual tray here. You can kind of help dab it up. We're gonna flip it over, hit it with a little mustard on this side. A little bit more seasoning. Helps if you season up high like this. The seasoning spreads a little better. Oh, it smells good. Love this seasoning. All right, that's just about good. We've got it nice and covered. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our meter thermometer and we're gonna put it in. We wanna stay away from, there's a bone that runs through the pork shoulder, so you don't want it to go into the bone there. So you wanna stay away from that, get it kind of deep into the middle there. There we go. And then we're gonna let this sit for about 20 to 30 more minutes and let the seasoning soak in before we get it on the smoker. I'm gonna go fire up the smoker to 250 degrees and we'll be right back with you. Okay, we're out at the smoker. It's cold this morning, but we're gonna get this going. We've preheated our smoker here to 250 degrees. We're gonna put our pork shoulder on, fat cap down, kind of get it positioned on there. We've got our meter in there. Now we're gonna put the lid back down and we're not gonna check it for a couple hours here. We're gonna let it go. We want our internal temperature to reach 165 before we move to the next point here. So let's let it smoke and we'll be back with you. All right, so my meter says that we're hitting 165 degrees internal. That's Fahrenheit. So let's lift this up and take a look at it. Oh yeah, look at that nice crust on there. It's looking really good. I've got my thermopen here. We're gonna just see what that says. 162, so we're good to do our next step here. So let me get my gloves on. This off and wrap it up, put some goodies on it. Okay, be careful, just go nice and slow. Get this into a little tray there. brown sugar. Sprinkle it on. Adds a little sweetness to it because we haven't put any sugar on this yet. So sugar goes really good with pork. A little bit of brown sugar on there. And we're going to take a few pats of butter here. This will kind of re-moisturize the outside. This will kind of melt over it as it cooks. Then we're going to take our apple juice and we're just going to pour a little bit in the bottom. So when we wrap this up, this creates kind of almost like a little braising type effect in a way. Just a little bit like that. Kimber is over here real excited. We're going to take our foil, tent it over. Wrap it up nice and tight. It's got plenty of smoke on it at this point, so we just want to get it back on and finish the cooking process here. So we're going to put this back on. By the way, it took about 5 hours to get to 165 internal. Now we're not cooking for time, we're cooking for temperature, so just to give you an idea. And I'm guessing it's going to take another couple hours to get up to where we want to finish at, and that's around 200 to 205 degrees internal. So a couple more hours and we'll be done, and then we're going to let it rest. Back on here. Make sure it's wrapped up good. No air's getting out. And we're still going to roll with 250 degrees. And we'll be back with you when we hit 200 to 205 degrees internal. Okay, so my meter thermometer said that we've hit about 204 degrees internal. So it's time to take this out. And we're going to keep this wrapped like this and let it rest for about an hour before we pull it. So that's that for now, and then we'll be back with you to pull this thing. All right, it's time for the moment we've all been waiting for, to take a look at this finished pork shoulder and pull it, see how tender it is, taste it. It's a big reveal. Oh my gosh, look at all that juice. And look at the bone. So that's kind of a good indicator that you have a nice tender pulled pork. You can see the bone right here. This should pull like right out clean. You've got, look at the meat just come right off of that. Look at that. That's your bone there. Here's the meter. Put that out of here. Look at all that juice in there. Jeez, we're gonna have to drain some of that off because some of that is fat. But I just want to show you. Look at this. You should be able to just pull these with your hand. You can just see how tender it is. It just pulls apart. Let's give it a shot too. That part around the bone is always super tender. Oh my gosh. I gotta stop because we gotta have some for the party. I'm telling you, that is so good. It's so just fall apart, juicy, moist. That bark on there is good. What I like to do is take some of this Killer Hogs, get it all pulled up, and then put a little bit of this Killer Hogs vinegar sauce on there. This is my favorite with pulled pork. Maybe, not douse it in it, just give it a little extra flavor. And then you can put this on sliders. I love them on the King's Hawaiian rolls. You can do this with tacos. You can do breakfast. You can do anything, burritos, anything you can imagine with pulled pork. It's very versatile. Well, thanks for stopping by Moby's Kitchen. Please like and subscribe. We've got a lot of great videos coming your way as well. Thanks for joining us today.